president to me bunkotoje wa benim na so for kre bunkotoje wa benim pa chawo woni to me ade na ope bi ade na nyame nyawo jeja wo de wo toto bola so take away park ba ko pa ne ade adi asia woni nipa
Ebusuya, good morning, good afternoon, and I say good evening, depending on where I will share me free. Announcement kakra ehon say kwasiada ebe on the 15th of January 2023. Mene Yahuda Ben Yesi of Common Sense Family share on this platform to discuss heaven and hell or and I say anyhow because who say these two places no and I say these two imaginary places no dia a Christopher Dudona is super say ombeye free-minded people and I say ombe live religion and I say ombe jai asoriko because here na empepi no ebo omu hu say omu jai asoriko a that be say omu wu a ombe hye say near Bible no eka eho asem no ntino Sunday at 7 p.m. Ghana time sharp. Don't forget Sunday 7 p.m. Ghana time sharp. Mene Yahuda Ben Yesi and I say Yahuda Quintana of Common Sense Family Beshiawaha I discuss the existence of heaven and hell. So take note of that. It's as simple as that. Nigel Gaisie, I've come across the video bi. No say wa hu Nyankopon da. Nyamia obo osoni asase Nigel Gaisie wa say wa hu ni da na wa describe the way a Nyankopon ositi enti abusua yentie no.
You said that you've seen God.
Yeah.
The Bible that I know in John 1:18 says no one has ever seen God, only the Son, and only those who have had the closest relationship with it. What does God look like?
God can, okay, so to speak to it's two-part question. I've seen God. The first time the Lord gave me my mandate, I was lying down with my son, one of my spiritual sons. He's now in Canada. And my bed shook. So I went into a deep sleep. Then an image came on the wall. The image was speaking with me and it was bubbling like many waters. I couldn't see the eyes of the image because it radiates. It radiates like that. It radiates like that. I was just seeing the forehead from this place and the hair is like a woo. Like a bruni akokurapa 18 feet. And mihune nase keke. Ne nase tse ogwamamba. So it speak into all bekono like a second. No, say me erade mafrel. Kwemejuma. So that is how I saw it. When you see angels, it will be in the last state of you waking up before you see that this is an angel.
You said that you've seen God.
Yeah.
The Bible that I know in John 1:18 says no one has ever seen God, only the Son, and only those who have had the closest relationship with it. What does God look like?
God can, okay, so to speak to it's two-part question. I've seen God. The first time the Lord gave me my mandate, I was lying down with my son, one of my spiritual sons.
Right. Mamini kan emfa ni say. And some year Nigel Gaisie dia to dray. So dream home from a different angle and I say so dream home from angle B ube who say he's right. Tina America Johnny, listen to me carefully and follow and someone American carefully. Mamento me boas na min chechirimo. Me say and someone Nigel Gaisie a dia to dray say wa hu nyame da we see what describing Nyankopon no. So dream home from a different angle ube who say near all kanye no kre nti American is say if you see obia hu nyame da tina meka choni nobody has ever set his or her eyes on God. Say you name the image of God. You name senia nyame ositie. We don't know how he looks, whether krampo say whether say or he and that's she krampo no you name what you say. We don't even know the gender of God. A book could be said you abrofo de bre ye na describe it and I say kire yen say Nyankopon he. But as to the fact to say, Nyankopon he and as a she dear, we have no evidence to. It once I will be who nyamida anybody at all has got the right to describe God in any way or form or image that they want. Tira meka choni what him asie pa. Senka emoa was our dream and nipa wo. And anka emoa so to me imagine Emmoa nso tumi penti, emmoa nso etimi draw. Ena nka yedi crayon anase pen and pencil ehye emmoa nsem se aboa bia nso enro Nyankopon anka every animal will draw God looking like them anase in their own image. Anka aboa okra obedro Nyankopon looking like okra. Aboa opete anka obedro Nyame looking like opete. The same thing applies to Osono, Sebio, Kankebi, Afafranto, Hwanhwai. And more, we are saying now would have drawn God looking like them. Tinameka show ni. And you know, anybody at all has got a right to draw God in any image of their choice because nobody has seen God before. And once a obia enhuni dano, se obi draw Nyankopon looking like Kramaya, untimi nka se enokre. Sanso na untimi nka se eyatro because in the first place, you know, there is nothing to compare. Se kami ken yehu nyame da. Ene nyame ye ebia meken kusie. Nyame ye ebia meken marijata. Nyame ye ebia meken creature bia sebio we can't even describe. Ena ka obi draw nyame no in a different image. Samre no. Ena yibetimi aka se there bi na se nyina sebio ewiase nyina obi ehu nyame da. Enye se na nyame tie anase this is not the image of God. So why do you draw God in this image? For example, so the pencil share obinsa say on draw chairman Freemind. Esan say, Muina, you know how chairman Freemind looks like. Or ye obia or jiji. Or ye obia ne hwene ase men kan say emunto krono ohu. Eye hompo kakra. What you say? Chairman Freemind you obia say no city or ye slim guy onso or ye nipa krokrowa. Enti se o de pencil ma obi say on raw chairman Freemind. Na se nipa no ko draw a different image a ensemia. Esan se unim manimu nti. Ubetimi aka se na se kamo enye se na chairman Freemind city e. Enti image a wa draw there. This is not the true image of chairman Freemind. But can we say the same thing for God? No. So once we cannot say the same thing for God, anybody at all has got the right to draw God or define God in any image of their choice. And from that angle, no, Nigel Gaisie is right to describe God in any image he deems, correct to him. Say, na me dear me say, Masudaye, I had my own, imagination, and I say I had my own revelation. Na mi hu Nyankopon na say ni na otie. Intino. We cannot blame Nigel Gaisie for describing God the way he has described what he has here because obiye hu nyameda. Now, yafe yemfa emfree a different angle on somra. A DNT on say in my first angle na me free buy no me mamuti ase say esan say obiye hu nyameda nti say ya de pencil ana say crayon ehye obiya ansa say obiya no Nyankopon emboa nyina obiya no Nyankopon a esan say yehu ni da na nyame eye concept nti emwa be draw nyame in their image nipa nso be draw nyame in their image into the same way no so all the pencil she broni nsem say onro nyame a broni be draw nyame looking like broni nti I was expecting say in the same so all the crayon so she bibini nsa say bibini enro nyame anko say bibini so to me draw nyame looking like bibini. But in this case, Nigel Gaisie has described God looking like broni. Or say me who no na ni tri nwi as a broni akokore bi. Now, e ho na brainwash no e hye no. E die enti e na wo ye black man. E die enti na wo ye bibini na o draw Nyankopon na untimi enro Nyankopon in your image. Now draw Nyankopon in the image of another race. You see, when that happens, the consequences no any say. That is why most black people, we have a low self-esteem. Say, we picture God. We picture the creator of this universe. And I say, the supposed creator of this universe. We picture that creator not in our image, but in the image of another race. And now, Esan say, we hold that creator in high esteem. Esan say, we give maximum respect to that creator. Esan say, yeah, Jesus is our creator, no, to me to do everything, and he is the master of all things in tea. The moment we begin to see our creator, no, not in our image, but in the image of another race, we will begin to see that race as our masters. And when a brainwashing nation, no, and what I make sure will say, broni by and broni who say, so the chain ego night ego sa, it will never last forever. emre bi beba most of us will fight for our liberation. Now so broni na onye na dwen se obegya ye enne egya ye china enti se samre no duru na se breaking the chains of slavery na obesi dan atokoso a control ye enie e wo se or this chains no ebi eto ya dwen ho because mental slavery there when you are physically enslaved I mean you are aware se chain gunsa unim se chain down na ya unim na so se chain achechire wadwen a even you the person enslaved wouldn't know you are enslaved. What must I say about? So the moment you picture God not in your image but in the image of another race, it tells you, say, the God you are worshiping is not of you, doesn't know you, has no connection with you, because that God that you worship is not even your ancestor. How does it look like you? Why do you draw Satan looking like yourself as a black person, but draw God in the image of another race? Why? So are you telling me, say, God cannot be, if even God has the image of man, which I doubt. Because from my knowledge, one which I still keep learning, I don't claim to know all. But there be a me can say, yetin kwemu na sebio moja edi efrusani ewo yemu idie. Yen toko so na yensua die. Enunti na I love science more than religion because science doesn't claim to know. Science is say, yeah, tiwiase a ye won kwan kwa de yenkoso nsua de ebia emre bi ba ye betimi ehu no kre no but religion kire wo say no kre ni na je by force jitum enti religion no it limits you from even further thinking, further studies, further knowledge, further analysis, because religion is brainwashing you, say information na ede ma wo no no kre. Meanwhile, so no, there is no evidence to back sa information na religion de ma wo no. I'm giving you the facts. I'm telling you nothing but the truth. So the moment you draw or picture God in another man's image, you know, a deity. So let me go back, not for me to forget my line. A deity na what do you say? So if even God has the image of mankind, why can't God look like a black man? Are you inferior? Unye nipa na sebio oyabo enti dienti na se wo dro nyame a wontimi nro nyame in your image. If even you believe, you say sa nyame na mogini di amosom ni say ono na obo ade nyina no se sa nyame no ohwa ampa. Why can't you draw that God in your image, but you rather prefer to draw that God in the image of another man? And I say another race, but Satan na mon penasem, Satan na mujini se oye osefo, Satan na Bible ne kan ho asem se obaye obekum ye obewia na de no, sa Satan de mo draw na. You prefer to draw that Satan in your image. But if you are drawing God there, you draw God in the image of another race. Aha na brainwash no ehye no. That is why there are so many bleaching creams in Africa. Because of course, the moment you believe, you say God is a white man, you prefer to bleach your color to look like God, who is a white man. That is why nobody loves the black color. That is why the white color has become a standard for beauty. Oyoba na se onye kokoa ohun nye fe. Oyoba na se oye tuntum nomenomia ohun nye fe. That is why even in beauty pageantry, all the beauty queens are, fair looking ladies or white looking ladies, because and na ababaye the standard for beauty. That is why there are so many bleaching creams in Africa. The black woman prefer to bleach the skin, prefer to turn the hair to look like that of Bruni. And sana obetimi aje ne ho atomu se sabio onu so ye nipa na ne ho ofena osefata. That is why we have so much inferiority complex. Because we don't believe in ourselves. We don't even know who we are as a people. But if you go back to history, there is even enough evidence to prove, say, blacks were here before even the other races. And I said before even the other race, blacks were here. Blacks are the indigents of this planet. And if you believe, we say, there is a God who created all of us, and you happen to be the indigent, the first person to have stepped foot on this planet there, then why don't you believe God is rather of your image and not in the image of the white man? What you say, Patem yo? And once again, when it comes to the concept of God, why do you believe God has no creator? God just came from nowhere and became God. And he created everything you are seeing today. God is almighty. He has no beginning and he has no end. God has no creator, but he came and created the things that you and I are seeing, right? And per the same logic, why can't you believe, we say, then the universe itself can equally be God? Because if God didn't have to have a creator or don't have to have a creator, what makes you believe by force the universe has got to have a creator? Can't the universe also exist without anybody having to create it? Just like according to you, God existed or God exists and nobody created God. Why can't the universe also exist without any being having to create it? But understand, it's within the human instincts to always look for the source of creation. Now, my member say the source of creation, if it exists, is not in any form. It's neither a man nor a woman. Enyoba, enyebema, enyesebu, creature be eyetumi. I always use the electricity as an example. It's not in any form. It's not a man. It's not a woman, but it's able to power your electrical appliances, your light bulbs. Everything is dependent on this electricity. So let's say the source of creation is what you and I can call God or refer to as God. By instance, say ye nipa. Now you want limited thinking. Some people took it upon themselves to personify God. That is why today Nigel Gaisie is describing God looking like a white man, because the white man personified God and placed that God in the brain of the black man.
Who we are as Africans. We need therefore to understand that when a white man picks up the Bible and he changes the characters of the Bible to Peter, James, and John, even to give the angels names such as Gabriel and Michael. So it means that in heaven they speak English because these are English names. How do you come to a biblical text and then give an angel the name Gabriel and Michael? So it means that in heaven they speak English. Now, what kind of, so even God has been colonized. Heaven has been colonized by a white man in the heads of the black person.
What you say, you? So even if there is anything like the source of creation, that source of creation is not in any form. And your ba, and your bema, and to me, it's an energy. It's just an active force. Now, in creative osmubia, and throw book bia, and throw Bible bia, it doesn't need your money, it doesn't need your tithe, it doesn't need your offering, it doesn't need anything from you. Nia ewasa minu mienu ya ne say. Yenyentum blindly say we are all a physical reflection of that energy or that source of creation. But that source of creation doesn't look like you and I. It doesn't need the kind of services that you and I need. And if you want to do anything for that source of creation, yema na body na ode weniwa ehu no. Simple common sense and logic. Uye bibini na so te ha na se wadwen ye o say you personify God or you allow the white man to personify God in your brain. That is why if you read the Bible, the God of the Bible has so many human limitations and characters, because the white man personified God in the brain of the black man. Enti Nigel Gaisie say wahu nyame da on describing nyame ema Ghana fo nyina entia o se nyame ebroni ni tri nya kwese broni ni kala nyina kwese broni. Now so this same Nigel Gaisie so man a pencil ne paper say on draw nyame sorry bonsamu ana say undescribable bonsamu a obe describable bonsam looking like onu ankasa ne kala. This is why the brainwashes. And this is where mental slavery comes in. And until I make sure we say, be wise, my dear brothers, my dear sisters. The white man personified God and lied to you, say, God is of his race, God is of his color. That is why today the black man sees the white man as God, sees the white man as superior. What do you say? And let us begin to emancipate ourselves from the shackles of mental slavery. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but us can free our minds. Bob Marley ne can say, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Uye bibinia eni ejitu mu say the source of creation where you came from. Say empo. E was say ose nipa na say empo. Says our source of creation no is in the image of a human. That human should look like you. That human should have your color. I was saying if you need to force me no me no dey. I was saying the color ni trim me be bia te say me no dey. Minia, but at the end of the day, no ni na assumptions, ni na belief with no evidence. Obi ehun nyame da, bonsam jamu o, heavy no, edien yo. Obi ehun da assumptions. Bonsam bia ni ho. Nyame bia, that character of God, it doesn't exist. Bonsam ni nyame eti nipemu eyeso ne banya eti nipemu. Ushia obi na se nipa ni your papa o say we dey me share me nyame pa. Ushia obi nso na se nipa no di uboni o say we dey me share me bonsam pa o. Ti sa two things no. Papa ne bone nyame ne bonsam eye eso ne banya eti nipemu. Enye nipa bi a ote heaven, enye nipa bi a ote hell, enye nipa anase creature bi anase sabio obofo bi a yeto ni free heaven ba asase so eya tro. Ntimi nua mo ani na ho na esu enyansa. Se na bia ye kwe ni mu no. Ya brabo ene ye man Ghana ebetimi afa ne ntuma pa efra. So simple as that. So simple as that. So simple as that. Yebusia for me de mo ebesi asane amu nyina mo ni me di the chairman Freemind Bakram.
Sika sa chonwe e shawa yedi. E shawa mi awanwe e shawa yedi e fo nyaka semuno e shawa yedi. Ye come Missy Danten Sika sa chonwe Sika sa unyaye go Come ye come Eshawa yedi Sika sa chonwe Eshawa yedi Eshawa ye go Sika sa chonwe Sika sa chonwe Eshawa yedi. Pase scanning bema anywhere na yare anywhere wani can yasi when you walk on the sumpwa no way you any atunchen ni ana me de misika do wa ko hwebra on the sen e pie ni wontina adana on sem kan yo Kadia, Bacasa moment, who will prove a prince. Go calling Yawuna, a show on Quandia, maybe bow. Nana Mitrabia, Cabernet Media, stay new Muntina. I don't know some Kikayo. You come, and show why you did. Take us such a way, and show why you did. You come, and show why you did. Missy Danten Sika sa chonwe Eshawa yedi Eshawa yego Sika sa chonwe